Okay, namaste. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on discovering Sanskrit at HUA, the scripts and sounds of Sanskrit. So I'm glad that you are with us today. If you haven't yet, please put in the chat where you're zooming in from. I am Ankur Patel, the Director of Outreach, joining and hosting from Los Angeles. Let me introduce our coordinator of language and Sanskrit studies at Hindu University of America. That is Srimati Parvati Sriram. She is amazing. She's a respected faculty member in HUA's Sanskrit department, really driving that whole initiative. And we'll hear about her role and how she's been doing that, not just from herself, but other students who have gone through the program or are going through the program. So we'll hear that. In addition to her role at HUA, Parvati ji is a long-standing instructor at Arsha Vidya Bharati and has been actively involved with Chinmaya Mission in Houston since 2013. She teaches scriptures, Vishnu Sahasranama, the Gita, different shlokas to the Balvihar students. She leads chanting sessions. Parvati ji is amazing and is active in many ways in our community. She brings her work and a rich combination of curriculum design expertise and experience with online platforms and teaching online, and a deep commitment to Sanskrit to her work. And we're glad that she is also a student at HUA, like so many people at HUA, taking a course, learning something on the side while also driving our mission and vision forward. So with that, let me just give a little background on the subject for today before I hand it over to Parvati ji. And I think Parvati ji, you'll introduce some of the students that are coming on, like Muthu Kumar ji, and I think we may have one more join us shortly. So in today's webinar, and just broadly, we know Sanskritam is more than just an ancient language. It is the subtle thread that weaves together India's spiritual, philosophical, and intellectual traditions. At HUA, learning Sanskrit is a journey of inner and outer refinement, restoring access to the source texts of Hindu Dharma in their original resonant form. I always think it's funny, I'm talking in English and my Sanskritam is not good, my pronunciation, but all of that is so important, right? It is something, Sanskrit, the language, it ties India and Hinduism and Sanatan Dharma together with all these ways. So, we're going to get into our CPSP, the certificate program in Sanskritam, the new course that we're launching, Language or Land 1000, Devanagari. This is where I jump in, where I don't even know the script. But so we go all the way from the beginning, all the way to master's degrees in Sanskritam. And we're going to get into that whole range of the world of Sanskrit studies at Hindu University of America with Parvati ji and a few students. And thank you everyone for being here. If you haven't put in the chat where you're zooming in from, can give you a recognition. So with that, let me hand it to Parvati ji to get us started.
Thank you, Ankurji. Sarvebhyo namo namaha. Let us begin with an invocation prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Very happy to see all of you joining this webinar to get this information about our certificate program in Sanskritam studies and the LAN, the Devanagari script. I'll share my screen. Ankurji, can you confirm that you'll see? I'm going to start the slideshow.
Yes, loading. Yes, we can see it.
So we are going to talk mainly about these the program, that is certificate program in Sanskrit proficiency, and the LAN, we call it LAN for short, which is the introducing the sounds and scripts of Sanskrit, which is a two-part course of a duration of a total of 6 months. So we're going to talk about both these today. So first, we begin with why study Sanskritam. So all of you have your own reasons for being here for the webinar, trying to explore Sanskritam. The way I would put it is, Sanskritam helps us understand our scriptures. Whether you're studying the Bhagavad Gita or the Vishnu Sahasrama or the Bhaja Govindam, you want to understand what is being said. When you go to the translations, you find many variations. And each one of us wants to know what exactly does it mean. And only when we read it in its original language, when we understand what is said there, for ourselves, we can make sense of what it is. And that starts with studying Sanskritam. So giving the cause for reason for why you would study Sanskritam, and move forward to how we go about doing that at HUA. So we have the certificate program in Sanskritam, Sanskrit proficiency, which takes a beginner, one who does not have any knowledge of Sanskritam, forward. So the 4 years of the program prepares a person to start at the very beginning, from knowing no Sanskritam to being able to study simple shlokas, simple subhashitani, and being able to understand and even able to summarize it in Sanskritam. So that is what the first one, certificate program in Sanskrit proficiency, does. We also have the spoken Sanskritam, where those who want to speak in Sanskritam, not go deep into grammar, but just want to understand enough Sanskritam to be able to converse. Now, the micro certificate in spoken Sanskritam helps one do that. We also have a certificate program in Bhagavad Gita through Sanskritam, though that is not offered in the summer quarter. That program is focused on Sanskritam. It's not focused on Bhagavad Gita. It's focused on Sanskritam, using the Bhagavad Gita shlokas to study the Sanskritam. And I'll introduce Muthukumarji in a short bit. He has taken both of these, the certificate program as well as the Bhagavad Gita through Sanskritam, and he'll be able to give you a student perspective of both of them. And finally, the Masters of Art in Sanskritam. Now, this is where, once the basic grammar of Sanskritam is understood, this program, the Masters program, helps one understand the Shastras using the original Bhashyas, not translations, not later commentaries, but the original Bhashyas. So you get to study the scriptures. And when I say scriptures, I mean even the Vedas, the Suktan, everything, using the original Bhashyas. That is where the Masters of Arts in Sanskritam is. So this takes one from the beginner level all the way to being able to study the Shastras. Now, talking about the certificate program in Sanskrit proficiency, we have 4 phases, and each phase has 4 courses, each lasting 1 quarter. That is a 3-month duration. So each course will have 10 classes, and there'll be 1 quarter end exam. That is the model, that is the structure. Now, the beginner phase starts at the very beginning. This is for those who know no Sanskritam at all. So they enter this phase, and by the end of the first year, they are able to understand simple sentences in Sanskritam. The intermediate phase improves upon that and helps the student form correct grammatical sentences. So now they're able to write and read using proper grammar. Then the advanced phase introduces the students to sandhi, concepts of sandhis and samasas and advanced grammatical concepts, and being able to write an essay, being able to write a letter in Sanskritam. The proficiency phase now covers everything that a student needs to know to go into the master's level program. So once they finish the proficiency phase, they're able to take the proficiency test that is required for the master's level program and are able to go into a master's program. It kind of covers everything that one learns at school at school age and a little more before you go into a master's program. So it's an intense course, but it's spaced and it's a weekly 1 lesson. So it is not too much, and one is able to do it over a period of 4 years. And this is a 24 credit program. At the beginning, the medium of instruction is English. Slowly, we move towards the 3rd and 4th year. We start conversing a little bit in Sanskritam. And by the last year, most of the instructions and everything is given in Sanskritam. It's alone, and students are able to comprehend that. Now, what is so different about our CPSP program? As I mentioned, we start at the very beginning. So when we say learning the Sanskritam script, some of you already may know Devanagari script because you know other Indian languages that use Devanagari script. But in Sanskritam, there are some small variations that are there when we use it, the way we, with the pronunciation, with the grammatical rules, there are some variations. So the first course starts with all that, and it talks about where the what are the origins of the sounds, where in the mouth or where in our throat area that each sound originates, how we put those conjunct alphabets together, what alphabets come together to make those conjuncts. So we go into all those details. And as I said, it starts at that stage of where you're learning about the sounds and moves all the way to being able to, let's say, take a Bhagavad Gita shloka and put it together in a prose order, being able to summarize it in Sanskritam and understand it on one's own. So that is the scope of the CPSP program. And it's 100% online. The classes are all online. All the class recordings are available. In case one misses a class, nothing to worry. There are video recordings available. And even if you attend class, the video recordings are available for you to use later to study. And you'll have access to all the recordings for all the 4 years for even after you finish the program. And breaks, though not recommended, if one needs to take a break between phases, we do allow for that. That's not recommended. Continuous study is a better way to finish the program, but breaks are allowed. Now, what does one aim to gain from this program? So the first one would be to be able to write, read, and have proper pronunciation of the Sanskritam alphabets. And then being able to make sentences in Sanskritam, being able to use the grammar appropriately, being able to write essays, being able to use it in a regular conversation, being able to read simple shlokas and understand the purport. Now, who is eligible for this program? Basically, we don't have much eligibility. It's anybody 15 and above or 14 and above considered eligible. And the only thing that's required is a knowledge of English, because initially the medium of instruction is going to be in English. Though it says here that a 22-point credit hour is what is required for the program certificate, I would recommend everybody to join at that first course and complete the 24 credit. Those who join at the second course will see that there are some deficits that they missed out on the first course. As I mentioned again, even though you know Devanagari, there are some subtle aspects to how in Sanskritam, the small changes that are there that needs to be learned in that first course. So this is just a breakdown of how each course is called in each phase. The beginner phase, we just call it beginning 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same with the intermediate phase, that's the second year. This is the one you see in the green is the first year, the yellow is the second year, intermediate phase. Then we have the advanced phase, which is the third year, and the last year will be proficiency phase. So each one is divided into 4 courses. We'll talk about the registration in a little bit. So we have 4 stages of learning: listening, shravanam, sambhashanam, conversation, pathanam, reading, lekhanam, writing. And it doesn't go in that order. It is just placed in that order. It doesn't go in that order. So the reading, the writing, the listening, the conversation are all part of the first course. And it continues. Now, talking about this course called LAN, introducing the sounds and script of Sanskrit. This is a 2-part course. In the first part, you learn about the single letters and the combination letters. So we learn the vowels, the consonants, and the combination of vowel consonant. So that is what is the material learned in the first 3 months. So the reading, the writing, the pronunciation. Along with this, some shlokas, some mantras are going to be, the recitation part is also going to be part of this course. And this will be a duration of 3 months, the first course. The second course also will be for a duration of 3 months. And in the second course, the conjunct alphabets, which is very unique to Sanskritam, will be studied in detail. What makes the conjunct? How do we put them together? What does it sound like? Are there any silent alphabets in Sanskritam? There aren't. So that was just a trick question. No silent alphabets in Sanskritam. You hear everything and it is pronounced exactly as we write it. So it's very important to learn what goes into making these conjunct alphabets. So that will be part of the second course. So by the end of this 6 months, one would be able to read and write fluently and be able to pronounce all the Sanskritam, all the sounds appropriately as intended. Now we'll go into how to register, and I have it here, but before that, I would like to introduce Muthukumarji, and he will share his experience at HUA. He is a student of both the certificate program in Sanskritam proficiency as well as the Bhagavad Gita through Sanskritam. So Muthukumarji, a little bit about your experience in both the courses, where you started both of them simultaneously. So where, how is each one different? What is your experience with each course? Please share it with our audience. Thank you.
Absolutely. Namaste, Parvati. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. As Parvati said, I took both the courses in HUA and still continuing to do that. Even before all these things, I did several of the regular courses from HUA before joining the Sanskritam course. And in those courses, more I was trying to learn the concepts of the scriptures, what Hinduism all about, and that's where I started. But quickly learned that, hey, it's probably better to actually learn it from the native text. So I kind of said, okay, this is the time to kind of jump in and try to get Sanskrit learning going. So I actually, the thought came in when they offered the Bhagavad Gita through Sanskritam course. So I said, okay, this is the time to jump in. I just joined. And of course, they kind of asked me, hey, do you have enough understanding of Devanagari script? I said, I don't have it, but I just want to brave it. So I went ahead and took it. Then I was at the very deep end of the pool. So it was super difficult for me to kind of catch up. So I kind of struggled quite a bit in the first couple of months. That's when Parvati offered the following quarter the CSPES program. Then I just quickly jumped in. So that's the reason why I kind of took in both. But now I feel that even though in the beginning it was a little bit of difficulty in terms of understanding and learning the script and also pronouncing it, now I feel that taking both kind of gives me a little bit of a comprehensive picture. Because one, at least in the CSPS program, Parvati kind of covers the basics of the lettering, the writing, the pronunciation, and all that. Whereas the BGTS, which is the Bhagavad Gita through Sanskritam program, gave me the structure of the language, how the language works, not only in Sanskritam, but generally how the language works and how Sanskritam implements that structure of the language. So I feel I kind of got the best of both worlds by doing both. But specifically on the CSPS, I think the thing that I really enjoyed or got most out of it was, of course, in the class, even though we say it's 4 years, even though we say it's 10 classes per course, literally speaking, that's really too little time to really know the language of this depth. And what really has been structured or helpful in the CSPS program was two things, in addition to the classroom. One is we are able to go back to the recording and listen to it again and again if there are some concepts are not clear. And at least personally, what I've seen it is when I listen to it back, I kind of take notes of, hey, this concept was introduced on 23rd minute. This concept was introduced on 46th minute. So I kind of make a notes out of it. That way, it's kind of easy for me to kind of go back and listen to that section of it if I have some clarification required. So that was super helpful. The second thing was extremely helpful was the office hours. So there's always an office hours that's available every week. And I kind of go religiously to those office hours. So we do all kinds of reading practice and any questions that we have on the homework. So we have fellow students there. So we kind of share our experience and kind of talk about, hey, what worked, what we need some further help on. So that is also super helpful to be able to get that. So what I would suggest for new students to take up on is do spend a little bit of time in the beginning to make sure that you have enough time to cover the script and the pronunciation, because pronunciation for me, I'm still learning. It takes a lot to really get to the bottom of it. I wouldn't say that I know everything, but at least it gave me foundations in terms of what the right thing should sound like, though I might not be there yet. So to me, having both the perspective CSPS and BGTS really helps me, and I do plan to continue both for the next 4 years. So that's kind of my experience. And let me pause and see if there are any specific questions for me, and I'll be able to help answer those.
Thank you, Mr. Kumarji. Are there
Sure.
any questions for him as a student?
To give
You
you
could
a
also post
second
your
to
questions in the chat. Yes.
yeah, in the chat or the Q&A box, Vijayji is asking, do you think it wouldn't be a good idea to make the LAN course a prerequisite of the Sanskrit proficiency program instead of starting with the script and sounds in the latter as well?
That is the idea. We're going to start with this LAN course and see how many want to take it. Initially, we did not have this. So CPSP used to cover this also in the first 3 months. But we saw that many needed a lot more practice, a little more time. And that's the reason why we have this one for a 6-month course. And if this takes off, yes, it's going to become a prerequisite for the CPSP. But currently, it is not a prerequisite. Though I would say one coming into the CPSP, if they have a little bit of knowledge, it's better. Otherwise, it will be a very steep learning curve for them because in 3 months, they're learning all the alphabets.
Yeah. Maybe I can just share the screen on the course page, right? This is what we're talking about, being Sanskrit 1. So for all those folks who want to get into the start, and I think I'm going to start again this next quarter, that'd be great. And it's going to be on Mondays, 9 p.m., starting July 14th. So I'll put these details in the chat shortly. So Vijayji, thank you for that question. Anybody else? Let's get your questions. Let me launch the quick poll. Let's see how you all feel. And Parvati, I think you might have that slide that you can share again. Yeah. Okay,
So this one gives you the date for both the courses. The CPSP is going to be on Monday. When we say it's going to be on Monday, it stays the Mondays at 9 p.m. EST for all the 4 years. So you can lock that. It's not going to keep changing. It's going to stay the same for 4 years. And the LAN, 6 months for the 6-month duration, it is going to be on Sundays at 4:30 p.m. These are all our times mostly that you find on our website are going to be Eastern Standard Time. And I have the link here in case you want to copy that. The first one is for the LAN, and the one below that is for the Sanskritam program. There was a question about lateral entry. If there are some of you who already know some Sanskritam, who have taken some Sanskritam elsewhere, who have studied Sanskritam at school, you don't have to start at the beginning. You don't have to start with the first course. You will be able to take a test for lateral entry. And for that, please reach out to Pragyaji at info@hua.edu. Our Director of Registrations, Pragya Vats. She will guide you, and she'll put you in touch with one of us who will help you take that test at an appropriate level. And we will talk to you and determine what's the appropriate level at which you would be taking that test. So you would be able to join the program wherever it's appropriate for you. You do not have to start at the first course. But for those of you who say, I just know Devanagari or I know other Indian languages and I would like to start Sanskritam, I would say that you start at that first course. Are there any other questions, Sankurji?
Let's take a look. Vijayji, thank you for that. You know, if you have any other questions, let's have it. Muthukumarji, why don't you talk a little bit more about your experience and how was schedule is such a thing. And I like this idea of Mondays being locked in for 4 years where you go from not knowing Sanskrit all the way to the end, and maybe you can go through your journey a little bit. And audience, please, if you have questions or other things. Also, let me launch the poll, and it is launched, so let us know all of those things. There you go. Thank you.
Sure, Ankurji. So I think it's extremely helpful to have a fixed time and for 4 years. And that's really helpful for scheduling because certainly once we kind of know this is the day that we are locked with whatever is happening on our the remaining activities in our lives, we can kind of work around it. And fortunately, HUA has all these resources to be able to record it and able to play back and all that. So that's also helpful in case if there are situations where you have conflicts and cannot make the class, the recordings are available so you can always go back. Now, at least in Parvatiji's class, what's also super helpful is every class when she goes over the material, she also posts a help sheet, which kind of in addition to the books that we follow, books, of course, it's an incredible book that we have, though it probably looks like it's structured for little kids. But the pictures and things like that makes it interesting in terms of absorbing the material a little bit more easily. And the help sheets kind of helps in terms of differentiating what the letters are and why certain grammar rules are applied and how it is applied and all that. So those sheets are very helpful. And also we do get homework, though, as I said, the 10 courses per quarter is not a lot of time if you really look at it from the grand scheme of learning a new language with this level of depth. So homework kind of builds upon what is getting covered in the class. And of course, when you are just listening to it, you think you probably absorbed the material, but it really comes down to it when you take the homework and try to do it yourself. There you realize, okay, this I really don't get it. How does it fit together? And in those cases, going back to the help sheet, going back to the recordings and listening to the exact time that particular concept was talked about, that really helps. And also we formed our own study group, which was another suggestion was made in the class, which kind of helps for a few people get together and kind of clarify their own doubts and have fun along with it. So that also very helpful. In terms of how much time, I know this was a question that I had in mind when I launched on the second course taking it, which is, okay, what is the kind of time dedication person needs to have to take this on? At least whatever my experience have been so far is, apart from the class hours of 1.5 hours, which is Parvati is very particular about it. It's not like usually it gets done in maybe 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 45 minutes max. So that's very, very good in terms of fixed timing. And then apart from that, I spend at least the same amount of time listening to it at least once after that in that week. And then in terms of homework, when the homework gets dropped, usually we get one homework every other week. So when that happens, I probably spend anywhere from 3 to 4 hours extra for just doing the homework. That's roughly the time commitment that I've been kind of observing. So of course, then depending on what available time that you have, you can then roughly figure out, okay, how many courses that you can take. And I've seen some of my classmates have taken 6, 7 courses from HUA. I don't know how they do it. That's not me. I cannot handle that kind of load, but but 2 is certainly my limit in terms of not able to do justice to the material that's getting covered and able to absorb the material that we need to take on. Because this is what's really important here is because it builds one upon the other, you really, when it is covered, you really want to get the bottom of it, right? Because you cannot miss it and say, hey, I will be able to come back and look at it later. No, no, no. At least you want to get at least the concentric or concentrated information there. Then you, of course, the concept gets repeated again and again over the course. You're going to get some revisions, but the base understanding needs to be there for you to kind of build upon. So that's why I feel it's important to spend that time on a weekly basis to kind of get over that. And since when I started, unfortunately I didn't have any Devanagari, so I was completely starting from scratch. But since I kind of started the BGTS program and they really said that you need to have Devanagari, I spent good 2 months just going through the letters by myself and writing it and trying to learn it. And of course, it worked for a little bit, but really it helped when I joined the CSPS. That's when it really got solidified. So that's roughly the time commitment that I feel that is necessary for a course like this to do justice.
Great, thank you for that. Yeah, Parvatiji, why don't you, I mean, you're responding to Vijayji, but just more broadly, designing the program, where we are, where we're going, how we're following our students' journeys and creating programs and courses to fill the gaps and provide options from the responses we're getting from our audience or the community. So just how you're seeing it, where we're going, and how we got here a little bit at a higher level.
So Vijayji's question was, why don't we make LAN a prerequisite and start at the very beginning? We really would like to do that. Initially, we did start with CPSP as starting from the scripts itself. That was because many come in with the knowledge of Devanagari. But we see that though they come in with the knowledge of Devanagari, their pronunciation of these alphabets are not quite where it should be. So the first course includes that, and that is how we were doing it. But then we had a mix of students. There were some who had never seen Devanagari before. So since we didn't make knowledge of Devanagari mandatory for this course, we had both in that group. And that kind of made it difficult for those who did not know to learn and catch up with the rest of them in that 3 months duration. And that is the reason why we have this LAN course for those who have never studied any other Indian languages, for those who don't know Devanagari, are not confident about their pronunciation, about their writing skills. So now they have 6 months to come up to speed and then join the CPSP program. The first course, though we say we're teaching, as I said, it will be a steep learning curve for those who don't know Devanagari at all, or who know a little bit and who are trying to learn. So that is not recommended. But that said, there are many who know a little bit and who would like to jump directly into the program. For them, the CPSP first course is recommended. They do not have to take the LAN at this point. Going forward, yes, we'll probably have an assessment once, maybe in another 6 months when we offer this course again. The next time we offer it, we'll probably have an assessment to see if they are where they should be with respect to the Devanagari, and recommend LAN or the CPSP first course accordingly.
Yeah,
And
Vijayji has
there's
another
another
kind of follow-up. Are you reading that, Parvatiji?
Yeah, there's another question about homework. So the question is it 3 to 4 hours per week for homework? That depends on each person. So there could be someone, as Muthukumarji said, the ones who are taking 6 courses at HUA are not spending 3 to 4 hours on one homework. I am sure of that. So each one, what Muthukumarji means is he probably goes back to that video recording, listens to it again, because when you're hearing something for the first time, you think you got everything, but then some things we forget. And then when the application comes, it's like, I'm not really sure this was even taught in class. So when you go back, I've had students saying that, oh no, this doesn't look like something you said in class. And then I'm like, go back to the recording, listen to it again. When they listen, they're like, okay, I missed this whole portion where this was discussed. So that does happen. I don't know whether every now and then we go to other countries and come back when we are listening to somebody speak. That's possible. But whatever it is, things are missed, and that's where the video recordings come into play, and that's where the homework comes into play, because the homework kind of tests you to see if you have a grasp of everything that has been said in the class. So you are not going forward without learning something, or any concept is not left out. So as long as one does all the homework, all those concepts are learned. Are there any other questions, Ankurji, that I'm
Yeah,
missing?
Muthukumarji, did you want to add to that just in terms of that homework and how you planned it out? We have one more question from Vijayji. And then I was trying to get Chandrasekhar ji on, but I don't know. I resent him the link, so we'll see if we have another student who can get on. And if you want to ask your question with your own voice, you can raise your hand in the participant window, and I can also unmute you so you can ask our panelists directly. Go ahead, Muthukumarji. Please elaborate a little bit more and see.
Sure, sure, sure. I think that the 3 to 4 hours I mentioned is, I mean, as I said, it's every other week is when I spend that kind of time. And as I said, it's for my own benefit of not having any background in Devanagari or anything to do with the script and pronunciation, things like that. So mine is really a slow start in that sense. And since I kind of went on the deep side with the BGTS program, I'm a little bit shy right now, not to let anything pass by without me understanding it. So I spend a little bit more extra time. But I feel that's the fair amount of time that I feel that I should be spending, and that kind of worked out for me. 3 to 4 hours every other week. I think I feel that's necessary, at least for my level where I am at.
Vijayji's question is can it be accelerated? Yes, there are students who do ask us that they want to accelerate the 4 year into 2 years. Initially, it used to be a 2 year program. We did try that too many years ago, but that did not work for a majority. 2 years is too short a period to learn the kind of material that is covered in that 4 years. But if one wants to accelerate, then yes, the program itself will not be accelerated. You'll still have to take one course after the other, but you can take supplemental courses alongside, and you can accelerate that. And the completion of the certificate program is not mandatory for one going into the master's program. If you're at a level where you can take the proficiency test and you can pass, that is all that is needed. So how you go about doing that is completely up to each individual. So yes, if you are able to come up to speed in 2 years, then you can definitely go for that master's program in 2 years. And Kurji, I think we have Chandraji on there.
Yes.
Namaste,
Namaste.
everyone. My name is Chandrasekhar.
Great to have you
And,
on, Chandrasekharji. Let's go
Namaste,
into
Ankurji.
if you can share. I don't know if you got to catch Muthukumarji and how he went through his experience and all of that. Sorry, you
Yeah,
got stuck as an attendee instead of panelist, but that's fine.
yeah,
So now, if you can share your story a little bit, and maybe
of
we can keep
course.
having
Yes.
questions coming. And Parvati ji, if you want to say anything to introduce him a little bit more.
Chandrasekhar ji, he just finished our certificate program in Sanskrit and proficiency, and he took the Sanskrit proficiency test for the masters, and he has aced it. And he will soon join the master's program as well. So this is from someone, an experience from someone who has finished the program. So Chandrasekhar ji, up to you.
Sure. So I heard a little bit of what Muthukumarji was talking about, but I can share my experience. I missed the first session of the CPSP program, so I joined in the second term. But I was very confident that I should not have any problems because I learned Hindi while growing up in school, and I also studied a little bit of Sanskrit for a few years as a course during my school years. But I was surprised that I didn't know so many things properly. Parvati ji was just mentioning about even the Devanagari script and the alphabet and learning how to pronounce each alphabet properly. I didn't know all that very well, so I had to catch up a little bit, but it was not very hard. And then the course became much more easier to manage for me. Uh, in terms of terms and the rigor, uh, I have a full-time job, I have a family, kid, and I was able to manage the assignments, the tests, and attending the classes without any problems. The instructors are amazing, and the assignments, though they are sometimes a little hard, but they really help us uh, learn the fundamentals very, very well. Whatever is being taught in the previous 2 3 classes is usually a part of the current assignment. And I would again go back to listen to the recordings, take notes again, and then I would attempt the assignments, and they were all doable. They were not like impossible to complete, and they were not very, very easy either. So they were just the right amount of difficulty and coverage in terms of the course that we were studying. The exams sometimes were a little hard, but we did have enough time to finish everything. And they were, again, a very good way to just make sure that we have learned everything that was important in the term. And they really helped, again, personally, me, they helped a lot in grounding all the knowledge and the fundamentals of the CPSP program. Uh, in terms of the amount of work that is required, I would probably agree with Muthukumarji. We have classes every week, 1.5 hours once every week, and then I would probably spend 2 or 3 hours during the week more to review the class. Plus, during the assignment, sometimes we had to spend maybe 3 4 hours making sure we learn everything and we finish the assignment. Assignments you would take a little bit of effort, but again they were important, and later on we did again appreciate that they were covering all the important things, and they were pretty good in terms of again learning everything, and yeah, solidifying all the knowledge. uh, Yep, and yeah, I just finished the CPSP program this year. I took the Sanskrit proficiency test, and surprisingly, or not surprisingly, all the contents of the test were things that we have studied in the CPSP program. So there was nothing, not even a single question that we had no idea how to approach. So this program really helps us in the SPT test also. And yeah, that's all. Any questions?
So the
Thank you. That was
SPT test he's
great.
talking about is the Sanskrit proficiency test, which is not conducted by HUA, but it's
Yes.
conducted by a different agency, and
Yes.
as a prerequisite for the master's program.
Yes. That is correct. Sorry, I should have clarified. Yes.
We'll probably include some of that information for that Sanskrit proficiency test in the follow-up. You get a recording of this. We'll send you the email. We'll continue to take your questions. If anybody has any, I think there are, Vijayji, we answered that one. We answered that one. If you have any new questions, please put them in the Q&A box. It's a little bit easier than the chat box, but in the chat, we can, I see Sai Charan signing in from West Palm Beach. Thank you for joining. Who else? Anybody else join that I can give you a shout out? Vijayji, thank you for being active. Haryarji from Santa Maria, glad to have you on. All right,
If
let's
there
get
are
our,
anyone here who does not know whether LAN or CPSP is a good one for them to join, you can always write to info@hua.edu, and one of the registration team, they'll put you in touch with me. We can talk, and I'll help you understand and help you figure out which one is the appropriate one for you.
yeah. So if you hit that in the poll, the number 2, yes, please share information with me. That's a great one to fill in. So Parvatiji can go through it with you and say, help you figure out, are you at the really beginning? Can you jump to the next level? Which course should you take? And then we can plug you into that Sanskrit proficiency test after that. So yeah, that's ready to go. So please let us know in the poll where you're landing on. Akoshua, how do I say that? I'm sorry, Akoshua from Albany, New York, right? Glad to have you on. And back to you, Parvatiji. I'll show the links to the courses again in the chat.
So to give a little bit more about the structure of these, both of them are similar. You'll have a 1.5 hour class, and as Muthukumarji said, we do not go beyond the 1.5 hour. The instruction would be up to the 1.5 hour. If there are any extra questions, we do stay back for a few more minutes to answer questions. But usually, the 1.5 hour is the duration for which the instructions are given. So you can plan your schedule accordingly. And the homework is also we do not randomly give you homework at some day and announce it. It doesn't work like that. At the beginning of the course, once you see the LMS is set up for you, the LMS is Learning Management System. And when that is on that, you would be able to see on which day, at which time each assignment opens and at which time the assignment closes. So you can plan 3 months ahead. You can plan the quarter end exam. It tells you exactly at what time it opens and what time it closes. So you are able to plan everything very well in advance. And in case of an emergency, in case you're not able to take the exam at a particular time, we do make exceptions. There are, life happens. So you can request for a different day or a different time because people travel, work comes, family emergencies happen. So we do allow for alternate days when these tests can be taken. So all those accommodations are made in case you're wondering about how to fit this into your busy lives.
Parvati ji, can I say a couple more words about about my experience? There are a few things that I realized probably would be useful to the forum here.
Definitely.
So in our batch, we had people of all types. We had children. We had a few 12, 13-year-olds who took the whole course with us. We also had senior citizens. We also had people who came with absolutely zero experience in Hindi or in Sanskritam. People who do not even belong to India. Even few of those people were in our course, and everybody found it manageable, and everybody was able to get through the course and finish all the assignments and really ace the exams. Another thing that I wanted to mention, there were two terms where the course material was not that great. Course material available in the market was not that great. So our instructors, they worked with us. They created the course material themselves during the course, and that was immensely helpful in learning the concepts very, very well. And those really helped in the Sanskrit proficiency test later on. So people who are on the fence and are not very sure, I would say just do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra. Any other questions that are left unanswered? Let's see, one question.
All right, we got a few people filling out the poll. Thank you for doing that. If you haven't yet, let us know. We got definitely some people who are interested, some questions.
Okay, there's a
Yeah.
question about whether this is continuously offered or how do we offer it. Usually we try to offer it every other quarter, which means once in 6 months. That is what we try to offer. But sometimes depending on availability of faculty, depending on the students' interest, it might change. So instead of offering it every 6 months, it could be 9 months. So if that's the reason why I did not recommend a break. If you take a break, you may not join in 3 months. It may be 6 months or 9 months before you are able to join with the other batch when you take a break between phases. We do try to offer it every 6 months. So that is how we plan it. But life happens for us too. So we cannot assure you that every 6 months this course will be offered. Sometimes, due to unavoidable reasons, courses do get cancelled, especially if they have a very low headcount for that particular course. So that's the only reason we usually cancel a course for. We do not cancel it for any other reasons. One or the other faculty would definitely be teaching the course. So faculty unavailability is not one of the reasons why we cancel a course, of course.
Great. Yeah, and it's basically we have multiple batches going in parallel, as Muthukumarji and Chandrasekharji kind of indicate, right? And It's a growing program. We need more people to participate. It might be a really good program to take with your partner or with your niece, nephew, son, daughter, sister, brother, somebody else who also wants to do it. It could also, you know, be something that you can do something with a partner, with a friend, with your family to actually take your practice into action, right?
To
All
add
right.
to that,
So
Ankurji, there is one family who is just graduating. So from Chandrasekharji's class, it's an entire family. The father, the brother, sister, they all finished just now, and all of them are going to into the master's program together as well. So it is a journey for the family as well. So it helps, like they come together as a family. There's bonding in studying. So there are different ways to bond. This is one of the ways. And people do enjoy doing that together as a family. And that, as I mentioned, we usually say are 14 and above. But if there are 12 and 13-year-old and the family wants to stay together and study, we do make exceptions. So please reach out to us in case. That is the why Saraji was mentioning that there are younger students. And we were surprised. They did equally well, or actually better than most adults on the proficiency test. We were really surprised because it's advanced grammar. We are not talking about simple grammar here. We're talking about samasas. We're talking about pratyas. It's not easy for a child who's growing up in this country, who has not heard Sanskritam, who does not hear it in an everyday life, but still they did extremely well. I mean, I think it was one of our teenagers who scored the highest in this batch. Yes. So they do very well. Teenagers do very well too. So if you know any teenagers who are interested, this program is really good for them.
very interesting. I'm
There's
gonna
something
put
for
that in my
them
brain
to.
and say like, how else can we partner with folks? Because it's true, right? Teenagers, their brains are just wired in a way that makes it easier for them to learn language. So maybe this is something that we take back to Kalyanji and think about a different way of Sanskrit for younger kids as well. But this, as you're saying, this CPSP is everyone and has been able to take it, complete it. I'm excited about this and glad that we were able to have both Muthukumarji and Chandrasekharji with us today. Maybe we'll start wrapping up. So last couple of thoughts from each of you if you want to figure out what order, probably maybe Muthukumarji, then Chandrasekharji, and then Parvatiji to wrap us up. In the meantime, this is your last chance to put in some questions. We don't have too many folks left with us, but if you are still here, then I hope you are really considering enrolling in the program. And please, if you have questions, now's the time. So, Muthukumarji, yes.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if I have to do this all over again, starting now, I would probably start with land just because there's absolutely zero background I had with Devanagari and anything of that nature. So I certainly learned my humility now. So I would have started with the land first and then go on to the CSPS rather than jumping at the BGTS. So that would be my suggestion if somebody is thinking about it. And as they pointed out, or Parvati pointed out, I mean, the kids are amazing. They learn so fast, and I don't want to even compare. So there's no reason to even compare that they are in a different class by themselves. So it's amazing if the kids can benefit from it, and there's an opportunity. My kids are older now, so I had no opportunity now. But if I had to do it, I would probably would enroll them along with me if it is possible. But that would be my suggestion.
Thank you, Muthukumarji.
Thank you.
Ankurji, there's a question about how to find courses that are offered at HUA. If you can just pull up our website and show.
Yeah, so I shared a link, but yeah, I can also just share the screen just so you see it. So if you just go to the HUA courses page, anything like here, academics, and then courses, you'll end up, and from the home page, it's one of the first buttons up there. It comes to this page, and here you can navigate through all, say, upcoming courses in the summer quarter. Then you'll see that you can see past courses, etc. So you can see the upcoming courses. They get filtered through, and then you see here, beginning Sanskrit, right? You know that's the course that we're talking about, but all the rest of the courses we're also offering starting in about a month in the summer quarter. And each of these courses may have different start times a little bit. And obviously the Sanskrit, you can see that there's a lot of ongoing Sanskrit courses because we have multiple batches going on in parallel. And the master's program, the CPSP. I don't think we're offering the micro certificate in spoken Sanskritam right now, but we're continuing to create programs and offer, and you can see it here, the different courses, and this is how you can navigate. This is the one that I filtered for, but if you want to just say you want to do all time, and then you want to see the area of study, and then you want to click Sanskrit, then this is going to be huge, right? All the courses we've offered at HUA in Sanskrit for the last 8 years. And if you hit more, it's just going to keep on going. Anyway, just kind of nifty to see that we have at HUA built some strong programs. We've got Sanskrit really as the backbone, right, of HUA, and so important. And Muthukumarji's journey and Chandrasekhar's journey kind of illustrate that. So yeah, so answered that question. Took a little bit more time, but Chandrasekharji, maybe you can give your closing thoughts as well.
Yes. So in closing, again, I would repeat what I said, that if you are on the fence, I think you should just take the leap. I have a hard job. I have a little son. He's again, when he started the course, he was just 4, so there was a lot of time that he needed from life, and my job is also quite hard, and I was able to manage completing all the assignments, completing the attending all the sessions, and also taking the term and exams on time. And I did. I think I did reasonably well throughout the course. There is a lot of flexibility available if you are not able to, for example, attend a given lecture session. They are all of them are recorded, and you can always go back and review it. And if you have questions during the next session, the instructors are very welcoming of all questions. So you can ask your questions, have your clarifications done, and yeah, so this course is manageable. It's not a course where you can just sleep through 4 years, but it is not immensely hard either. It is definitely manageable. If you have any interest, I think you should. I would highly recommend you take a leap and do this course. My son is now 8, and he is definitely going to be a student of this course when the time is right for him.
Thank you,
So,
Chandraji.
yeah. Thank you, everyone.
If you see a course in Sanskritam that is not offered this summer, but you would like to take, please still write to info@HUA and express your interest. So when we see these interests, we do try to offer them in the next quarter. So if it's not offered in the summer, we'll definitely try to offer that in the fall. But for that, we need to see a number of people asking for that particular course. So when we need a minimum number. So when we see interest, we do try to offer that as soon as possible. And to conclude, I would say those of you who want to get into the Sanskritam studies and who are thinking, do I have the time? Is 4 years too long? I would say start now. Instead of thinking about 4 years and then joining the next year, 1 year is gone. So please make that decision. And time flies by. You think it might seem like, oh, 4 long years. It's not 4 long years. You would see that 4 years is needed to learn whatever we are offering there. That is the right amount of time. Those of you who want to accelerate, as I mentioned, there are possibilities as well. Join and we'll help you do that as well if you were to reach the master's level program. We'll help you with that. And we do help each one. Each one learns at a different pace. Each one is unique. So we do change things and we do adapt. We do recommend other courses. We'll help you. We'll help you along your journey. And that said, I hope to see all of you in one of our courses, CPSP or LAN. And please talk to your friends as well. Join with your friends and family. The more, the merrier. This is a great journey of learning Sanskritam. So we'd like to see more and more people take these courses. Ankurji, may I conclude with a prayer? Astu. Om Purnamada पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ धन्यवादाः पुनर्मिलामः